Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Biz Talk for TikTok episode. In today's episode, we were actually doing something really fun, something new. It is the Where Are They Now on TikTok series, and just in August 2020, so almost a year ago, I had this guest on. Her name is Farah Hussain. She is a incredible business connector, and we talked about that on the show last time on how TikTok is really powerful for your business to be able to see and reach new connections in a fun way that engages with today's audience and the way digital media is growing in that space. So it is one of those places that you really need to be on. So if you're listening for the first time, I appreciate you being here. This is the podcast for you to learn about all your marketing needs on TikTok. And Farah is an amazing international business connector, influencer, business matchmaker, accountability coach, and speaker. So I'm really excited to have her back on, see what she's been up to on TikTok. What have been her trial? What have been some of the things that she struggled with? What are some of the things that she's grown from in that time? And where is she now in the space? So, Farah, welcome so much to Biz Talk for TikTok.
Thank you, Kyle, for having me again. I was so excited.
Yay. Yeah, last time we talked, oh my gosh, if people go back to listen to our first episode, they will see how far even I've come as a podcaster because I was still very fresh. I had no idea what I was doing. The audio quality is not the best either. So people listening, it'll be like night and day. So I'm really glad that we're both have learned from where we've been, from a year ago. So it's really exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So talk to me. How have you been since the last time we spoke?
Wow, it's so exciting. Do you know what? From the last time we spoke, things have just spiraled and in a good way, And it's given the TikTok platform has given me more visibility, which when I first started TikTok, I didn't think anything of it. And it was trial and error, and just putting stuff out there. And now I think I won't say I've mastered it, because I don't think you'll ever master anything until you keep doing it again and again and again. But I'm growing with it every single day. And that's what I would say about it. It's a growth, and it's a steady growth, Kyle.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Like the last time we spoke, you just hit 40,000 followers, and today you're sitting at 67,400 followers. And the thing is, I think you would have been a lot higher, but you've had some trials, you've had some issues with TikTok, and you know what? That's something that people are going to face along the way. TikTok's not perfect. They're still very fresh in the game. There's still so many issues and kinks that they work out. So, I'd love to talk about some of the successes that you've had and some of the failures you've had with TikTok, and some things that might be out of your control, because there was something that happened to you with TikTok and they actually banned your entire account. Like it was just gone. Goodbye. Talk to me about that. What happened on that day when you did you try to log in and it was just gone?
Well, basically, you have your phone and you're just scrolling through and you go into your TikTok app.
Right.
And all of it said your account has been permanently banned. I'm like, what? I thought it was a joke, right? I thought it was a joke because I don't swear and I don't use foul language. I'm just like, I would say I was a goody two shoes online, right?
Yeah, you are a goody two shoes.
So, and then I'm like, how did this happen? And then it just deleted, and I'm like, oh my God, either someone's complained or put something in. I had no idea. And you really don't know how to feel because you've worked so hard.
Yeah.
To get that following there, to create that content. And my daughter was away to work, and I just messaged her and I says, look, what happened? And then she goes, see, I told you shouldn't talk about all these followers and all that. And then she gave me a row. And I'm like, no, honey, you've got to understand, we've worked hard to get here. And it's not
Ah,
about that. And then 2 days, I was in pure shock and I didn't know what I was going to do because your heart misses a beat. And
yes.
then I just realised is that we can't put our eggs in one basket. And then I messaged TikTok. Nothing, nothing, nothing. And I messaged you as well, Kyle. I
Yeah,
said,
you
Kyle,
did.
look what happened.
I was shocked because, like, when you say goody two shoes, when I look at your account, you're so positive all the time. It's not like you're controversial in any way. So maybe some of your topics, some people might think so, but you do it in such a way that's positive and it is not negative to anybody. And so, like, I was really shocked. I was like, there's no way. Like, how is this a thing? You have to keep contacting TikTok because they made a massive mistake.
Yeah, and that's
So,
exactly what I did. I just contacted them. Then I went on to YouTube. And then I looked at other people, and I wasn't the only one. And this has
mhm,
happened to so many people. Yes,
mhm.
I don't have millions of followers, but it's happened to people who've had millions of. There was a girl, 2 million followers, and an account was just wiped overnight. But then
Mhm.
I just went through what she was saying. She contacted everybody, and I just did the same. Used the links, and then the thing is, we need to be patient, Kyle, right?
Yes.
We think
Yes.
we're the only ones that are going through it, but you've got to understand TikTok are getting tons of emails, tons of messages, and you'll actually get a ticket number, which I didn't realize until afterwards. And until you don't get into that place, they won't message you. Then that's how it happens. You just have to play the waiting game. And I think it was about 3 weeks afterwards, after me contacting them, and then they got back to me. And it was just a simple thing. You can log back in again. No
Yeah.
explanation. No
Right.
explanation.
They're like, your account has been restored and that's it. And you're like, okay, but why? But yeah, of course.
Yeah.
They probably don't know either. There was some sort of weird error message within their system that probably flagged it in some way. And that is something that a lot of people definitely have complained about with TikTok, is that it's kind of too easy to be banned in so many different aspects, like either from posting. There's so many people who have been banned from posting for 7 days. There's people who have been banned from live streaming. There's people who just get banned, period, with no explanation. But I mean, in the name of social media, I think you hit it on the head. One, don't put all your eggs in one basket because you never know.
No.
Always grow in other spaces. It's really important to be diverse in multiple places. So, and two, you just have to be patient with things. Like you said, like you're not the only one going through these. So, if anybody's listening right now and for any reason in the future or anything, if your account does get banned, and 100% that your content is good and there was no issues there for, committing violations with community guidelines, then you just have to be patient. You have to be consistent and contact them, get in that queue to be able to be reinstated. And your account should be, because I've known a lot of people as well who've had their account taken and then they've got it back. But it's frustrating, and it is like a pit in your stomach because you've worked so hard. You've
Yeah.
done so well as
I
well.
know, and it's just one of those things, and it's okay to say now when you've got your account back, but when you don't have it, and that's when you start like, oh my God, what's going to happen?
I
First of all, you
know.
start thinking, did I do the right content? Did I say something wrong? Did I hurt someone? What I didn't really mean to? But no, when I look at all my accounts, I'm like, I'm looking, showing my friends, look, what do you think? What do you think? And they're like, it looks okay to me, Farah.
Yeah, they're like, this looks very wholesome and peaceful.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the thing you probably missed as well was your community, because you have such a strong community there that are so positive on your posts and come and say like you're a huge inspiration to them. So I'm sure that was probably one of the worst things, not just because you have 67,000 followers. That's
No.
a number, but it's that community that you've had, those people that come to your account to look forward to the inspiration that you have to give them.
Yeah, absolutely. And a good thing about it is like Instagram is also a really good platform, especially when they've started doing the reels, and then you can start
Hmm.
your community there. For me, it's all about engagement. You're right. It's not about the followers. The followers are there. Even if you've got, even let's just say you've got 5,000 or even 1,000 followers, it doesn't really matter. It's the engagement that you have with those people. And by the content that you put out, and if you can change one person's life, put a smile on that person's face, and like, yes, you've done it. And that's the icing on the cake.
100%. I agree with you. That's what it's all about. It's just you. So many people put too big of a target. Like, I want to reach this many people, but in reality, we should really just be targeting one. Like, that should be our goal. So that way, it's always attainable, and making one impact per day at a time is what is really going to change the value for everybody out there. The world is just focusing on that, because then you don't get stressed within your own self. You don't overthink things. You can just show up and be grateful to have that. But it's true. So many people do get caught up a little bit in vanity metrics. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. I mean, I was looking through your content one day, and what somebody pulled you up and said, "You don't have that many followers, so how can you be an expert in what you're talking about?" It was just
Yeah,
funny. It was so funny. I'm like, people don't understand. You don't have to have millions of followers to be an expert.
I know. It's crazy. Like, I've gotten that so many times when like what I do, especially they don't know what the behind the scenes of what
Yeah,
I'm doing, and they don't realize that just because I don't have millions of followers doesn't mean that what I'm doing in my space that I know well. Like, I'm connected, with my agency. We have some of the top TikTok talent. So now on board, we exclusively represent Michael Lee, who's just Mako on the app, who's got
wow,
almost 50 million followers, and
brilliant.
Spencer X, who's got 54 million followers. So I mean, and we represent more, but they don't realize that I see their business, those creators, their business from the insides to the outsides. I've seen where they've grown. I help them with all their brand deals, all their content strategy, some opportunity. So these people that are on TikTok, they think I have to have millions of followers to know this information, but it's not true. And
It's
that's
not true.
that's the thing as well. I mean, you cannot yes, people sometimes claim they're experts, and they might not be, but just because they don't have social proof doesn't mean that they don't know these things. So that's another thing as well. Yes, you should build your social proof, because we're going in the digital space, but it doesn't mean just because you don't have this followership that you don't know what you're talking about. So,
Absolutely. And I've seen you grow. You've seen me grow. I've seen you grow. I mean, especially when we had that podcast last year, you were new to it. I'm new to this. And now we're at that stage where we are still continue growing and we're learning from everything. I wouldn't call it failures. I would
mhm,
say it's all stepping stones and learning,
I
because you
love
need
that.
to take a step one at a time. You can't climb 4 steps in one go, unless you've got big long legs, but I certainly don't. One step at a time, and everything it is just a learning curve. And TikTok is such a playful platform that
Mhm,
it's just trial and error. If
it
it doesn't
is.
work, try something else until you find what works for you and what your style is. And that's how
Exactly.
people will get you.
Exactly. I think that's still one of the number one things that people fail, like, okay, fail at to get started, is they overthink it, because they think that they have to have a plan from the very first video. They think, okay, I need to figure out what my plan is from this video and then go forward. So they're like constantly thinking about a plan, but really what they should be doing. And so if you're listening right now, what you should be doing is just taking action and creating, because you won't know what your plan is until you just do it. And that's what I even do some consulting on the side for people. And the number one thing I say is, okay, let's just get started. And they're like, hey, what are we doing? I'm like, just try it. Let's try these things. Let's see what happens. Let's see what the audience says. Let's see what feedback we get. And then we kind of go from there, and then we kind of just start merging and try different things. And that's what I love about it as well, is the place is so much more authentic and human.
Yes,
So the people that are watching and consuming, they can read that. So it doesn't matter really what you do, is if you're trial and error, like, um people are still going to like receive it if you're being authentic. So even if your content completely changes every single day to until you figure it out, you're not going to put people off, because people just are going to see you as being a human being. So
exactly. You're absolutely right. And TikTok is all about creating visibility with all these social media platforms. I know people want to come onto these platforms and start making money instantly,
Hmm.
but everybody has to understand it's a process. Even if you go to the gym, you need to take it takes time to
Right?
lose weight, and it takes time to create followers. It takes time for people to get to know you and trust you. And when
Hmm.
they do that, then that's it, you've got them, and
Yeah.
they'll trust you. And there's so many people out there, so many influencers, so many TikTokers, so many people. You will find your tribe.
Yes.
Something that will resonate with you, and you'll find your tribe.
I agree. And, I think that's the thing. So many people, we've been conditioned with like some of these other platforms, we just are so ad heavy that we think that's where we need to be, is just like putting ads out there and going straight into business. And that's not the thing. That's why I love about TikTok is it's kind of pulled that away. And those that are doing advertising are having to do it in an organic and authentic way to be able to like actually be seen, because if it's not, that just people are just swipe away. So now it's like, who are you? Like, who are you as a person? What are your stories? What are you trying to do for your community? How can you help your community? And when you get to those things, then you can talk about product and service and all those, and the people will actually listen. You don't even have to hard sell or anything. It's just about being there for your community. Then they'll come to you and even ask
Yes,
you, what is more about this, or I'm checking this out. And they'll be an advocate of your, either your personal brand or your brand or even your product, and go tell all their friends because you've made an impact to them personally. And
yeah,
now they're going to be a forever follower and a true passion person about you. And that's what brands have been missing, I think. And digital marketing is just a great place for that now, is to build those communities globally and be able to communicate with them more. Before, like a business, unless a customer comes into your store or you call them or whatever, that's the only time you can make communication. Now you can reach people so much faster and be able to
absolutely.
communicate.
Yeah, you're really leaving the front door open with
Hmm.
your followers, aren't you? You're just leaving the front door open. And if you're trying to sell to them, they'll get you, they'll understand, and they'll just shut that door and they will not come back to you. So you've got to be very careful.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, we see it on LinkedIn as well. I'm sure you have
Yeah,
inboxes where people just they just try to sell you right away from the first message. And it's
that's
like,
right.
I don't even listen to what they're saying because I'm just like, look, I don't even, you don't know me. I don't know you. That's not a great way to introduce yourself. And it's
No.
kind of like that on TikTok as well. Like each video you're putting out, you're kind of speaking to somebody. So how would you want to be spoken to? Do you want somebody to sell you right away, or do you want somebody to start a conversation with you and get to know you? And it's kind of like that with your content. You kind of want to put things out there softly, have people get to know you as a person. And
Yeah.
for Shay Rowbottom as well.
Yeah.
So recently she's been posting a little bit more on TikTok, and I noticed her content changed quite a bit. Before, it was like almost like repurposed content from LinkedIn and wasn't working. And
No.
recently, what she's been doing is sharing some of her like stories of her life, and in a TikTok format, and showing some tips and real like situations, and kind of stopped like. It's not that her LinkedIn content was business was salesy, but it kind of came across that, where now she's focused on, okay, let me tell the story to the camera of the TikTok people. And it's really those views that she's getting are increasing because people can resonate with that. So it's like the same thing. You want to show up and talk to people authentically. Don't sell to them. Like,
No.
you can do that later. The selling will come naturally as they get to know you. They'll want to ask you questions, which
Yeah,
is fun.
and when you go onto these platforms, I agree with you, Kyle. But we'll see, when you go onto TikTok, you've got to think about it first, right? Why am I doing this? So, see if you've got the bad, wrong intentions. That I'm going on there to make money.
Hmm.
You'll never be successful. But if you go on there just to have fun, provide value, and then the money and everything, they all just come. They just follow. But you've got to have the right intentions, and people see through that instantly. And it's really, really important to be your authentic self. And see, when you do, you crack the code.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it takes a lot of guts and courage, I think, to be
Right.
out there and just be yourself. And then when you do that, it's your audience, your followers, they will tell you that, oh my God, I really like this, and that gives you the confidence to
Yes.
create more content.
Exactly. I agree. And like your community is such a good place to turn to because I've noticed like of course there's going to be ups and downs with people. There's going to be some negative people on TikTok for sure. Every platform comes with trolls,
Yeah,
and there's going to be some really amazing people that will hype you up and get you pumped up, and you're going to help them. And so like but the feedback on TikTok is pretty quick. Like you do get comments really quickly. So that's what I like about that space as well is that you get instant feedback within your community so that like if a video does well, people will be like, this means a lot, or can you tell me more about this? Like people are not afraid to ask questions in the comments. They'll say, can you talk to me a little bit more about this, or what about this? And it just gives you that additional content to talk about that you may not have thought about, because sometimes we overthink things. We think we need to teach whatever it is in our niche or business, and we feel like we need to talk about like these high things that we think are giving value, but sometimes it could be just like the ground floor thinking of like what is the first step of like for me as a podcaster. So I might be trying to teach like tips after you've grown for a year, and some people are like, no, I just need to know how to get started to even like create my first episode. But sometimes we don't think like that,
you don't.
and
Yeah,
so our community is a good place to listen to those things, because it might be
yeah,
something very simple that we wouldn't even have thought to share
absolutely.
because we think everybody knows. But
Yeah,
it's
but Kyle, we need to
yeah.
be students. We ourselves
Mhm.
need to be students because we need to learn from these people, and these people give you so much, and
Mhm.
which you wouldn't have thought. Oh, that's a light bulb moment. I never understood that. But that's what happens, and that's how you become creative. Even if you're not a creative person, you become creative because they help you do that as well. And
Oh,
don't
I
get hung
agree.
up with like how many views that video's had. It doesn't matter. Yeah,
I
but
agree.
I'd be worried if it was like zilch, right? Okay, that's different. Like, there must be something in that video that's not worked. But come on, even if you've got 100 views, 200 views, 500 views, that's a lot of views.
It
That's
is,
how many people have watched you and seen you. Whereas
right?
they wouldn't have seen you if you weren't there.
Exactly. In the podcast before this one, that's going to be launching, we to discuss that as well. Is sometimes we look at numbers and we start thinking they're small because when we don't see a visualization of what those look like, it can seem small comparatively when you're scrolling through the For You page and you see millions, 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 and then you go to yours and you see, oh, 700, that's pretty small. But if you look at it as people, if 700 people were standing in front of you, that would be a massive impact to
Massive.
who you
Yeah,
are. And that's what I love about TikTok as well, is it's not uncommon to be able to get that. So it's still a great place to get organic reach. And some people that are thinking right now, well, I want organic reach in the millions, and it's like, yeah, you have the opportunity to do so, but why do you need that? You can start small and building that community with the right people. And it's true, like you said on your videos, sometimes you don't need those millions of views, and sometimes vice versa. You might have a video do well with millions or hundreds of thousands of views, and then you have a video that maybe has 5 to 10,000 views, and that one was more powerful with the right people, because the one
yeah,
that went viral are just people that are like whatever, they don't really care about your content. It's just that one video resonated with them and they scrolled on.
that's it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you should stay in your own lane. And this is what I've learned is that you need to stay in your own lane and not listen to the outside noise, because being on social media and looking at what other people are doing can be a really bad effect on your mental health as well. And
Hmm.
that's not good to be like that. Seeing people have got this and I want to be like that as well. It's just really, really important. And we've got to really be careful on who we follow, what we see, because it can have the other side, the bad effect, and mental health is really important as well.
I agree. Mental health is a huge, huge aspect. And I think it's because we're surrounded by all these vanity metrics. So sometimes we compare ourselves and think, oh, wow, that person has a million and I only have 1,000. They must be better than me. But in reality, we have to remember that we're all on a different journey in our life, right?
Yeah,
Like me and you are on different paths. We started at different times, and it's either not our time yet, or we realized in life that we didn't even need that many followers. Like, so you know, a lot of times we all have done it too. Sometimes I look up to people and I'm almost like jealous in a way, or I think I'm not good enough because they're there and I'm down here. But then if you hear their stories or you talk to these people and they say, "Hey, I was in that same position, but I actually started this 7 years ago," and I'm like, "Oh, I'm only 7 months in. So how
Yeah,
can I compare myself to somebody who started 7 years ago when I'm only 7 months in?" And some people get lucky, I guess, in ways where they're able to get it faster, but we all are on our own path. So it's important to just
absolutely. Yeah.
focus on ourselves and move forward. And like you
Move
said,
forward.
each step is a stepping stone. And
Yep,
sometimes some of
exactly.
them are bigger and some of them are smaller, and that's okay.
Yeah, and the thing is, Kyle, I've learned and with being on TikTok and being on Instagram and doing my lives on Instagram, and it's just given me the confidence, but it's also given me aha moments, right? It's not monetary. This is a really, really important. Sometimes it's not all about the money. It's all these
Hmm.
aha moments that you've come up with these great ideas. I'm working on a project with a group of people, Kyle. I can't say much about it, but it's so exciting. And it's all happened through TikTok, creating visibility, being out there and being authentic. And the project that we're working on, Touchwood, is going to go global. It's going to create so much noise and it's going to help so many people. I'm so excited about it. But if I hadn't come out of my comfort zone, if I hadn't been on TikTok, if I hadn't done what I was doing, I wouldn't be here today feeling so excited and going to
Yeah,
be enabling myself to help so many people in the near future as well.
that's so cool for like that. I love that. And you know, do you think TikTok is, well, you know, and doing lives on Instagram and everything, but do you think TikTok is a really has changed the way you're more confident with, like how you were saying, you're a lot more confident now?
Yeah, absolutely. Because, you need to come out your comfort zone and people are seeing you in a different way. They might see you one day without any makeup. And I'm just me. If I don't want to put any makeup on, if I'm out for a walk, I will just do that. I don't
Yeah.
really care because it's not about that. It's I feel confident within myself. I know who I am now, right? Being on
Hmm.
TikTok has taught me that. Right?
Right.
And it's not all about being, you don't want to show people all the time, look, I'm great and I can do this and I can do that. I have my down days and
Hmm.
I'll show my down days. I'll talk about my down
Yes.
days and that will inspire someone else as well. So that's given me the confidence to be me.
I love that. Yeah, I think, you know, if we think about being a human being, you know, humans are doing great things and they make a lot of mistakes. So we have to remember that being authentic and growing in the new space of digital media is all about just being who you are. And that also includes your down days. Like you said, share those with people. Say, hey, look, even if it's like business related or anything, just saying, hey, you know, we had a really bad month this month or whatever. Share some of those things, because what that does is it opens people up to the realization of reality in life. Like, not all businesses, sometimes you see them and they only talk about their success. So what that does is it puts an unrealistic level of expectation on people who they think, oh, so when they have a bad month, they say, oh my gosh, but all these people I'm following are always successful. But in reality, they're not. Like, they have bad days too. So I think it's really important to share those, because then it gives people like confidence in saying, oh, okay, this is okay. This person struggled as well. I am too, but they're carried on and they're still growing. So I'm going to keep going. And, you know,
Exactly.
my last guest as well, we discussed his success story with growing on social media and becoming the biggest aviation creator in the, like, one of the biggest aviation creators in the world. And his most viral video that got, it was like globally in the papers and everything, was one of his biggest failures, was sharing an experience of his biggest failure. And it resonated with people because it got people's attention and stuff. And he said he was really apprehensive to post it because he said it was almost like embarrassing. It was like a something that, you know, he claims to be this expert in this thing, but it was something that makes him look like a novice. And but he was like, nope, I'm going to share this experience with the
Yeah,
world. And, you know, and it did well for him. And I think that's really important. Is it, you know, people are not going to laugh at you. Maybe they will, but that's okay because that's just who that person is, to be that kind of person. But it might inspire somebody as well. Like your failure might actually inspire somebody because they might be going through that as well, and they see that it's okay, you can share it and you're gonna move forward.
Exactly. And on the back of that, and people look at my TikToks, and I've inspired many people to come out of their comfort zone and join TikTok and use that platform for yourself. But I'm a firm believer of the universe. So when these things happen and the hiccups happen during your journey, just think of it as like the universe is guiding you to your path. You may not know it or you may not see it right now, but follow that path. Just follow your gut, follow your intuition, and it will lead you to where you want to be. So
Hmm.
you can sit and plan 5 years ahead, but sometimes
Yeah,
that just doesn't work. And now, especially with COVID, I always say just take every day as it comes and see those thoughts that come into your head, those aha moments. Don't just keep them there. Put them into action because they
I
will mean
agree.
something to someone.
I agree. Yeah. So if anybody who's listening right now, you ever have those aha moments, either like you'll probably make a mental note and not forget it, but if you need to, open your phone or get a piece of paper and write them
Write
down,
it down.
because those are really, and like you said, so everything's not monetary. You don't have to think of everything as money. It, like, value in life, it doesn't always come to that. It could be lessons we learn, like you say, those aha moments. Write those things down because they can really, you know evolve you as a person to grow, which eventually probably will turn into monetary as well, you
Yeah.
know but yeah, it's true. Some people have the mindset of like, how can I use this to make money now? And it's like, it doesn't need to be about that. And
But
a
if
lot
you
of people,
concentrate
yeah.
on the
Mhm.
purpose,
Yeah.
what you've got, profit will follow. Purpose is more important. And you've got to keep that the main focus because when that purpose does bring in money, you can step away from that purpose and then you'll forget. And then it's back to basics again. Keep that purpose in mind, right
Mhm.
intentions, and everything will just follow.
Exactly. And when you have, like you said, that like, it's like purpose driven. When you are that, then it doesn't, the monetary stuff is just a bonus. Like, it's just an extra thing. But when you're driven by your purpose, then, you know eh, it doesn't, like, you're excited about anything. So even if you have a felt like a hit where your business isn't making that much money, you're still excited to move forward because it's your passion, you
Yeah.
know. So it's just, yeah, I agree. And if you want to come to TikTok, it's all about just being authentic, sharing your story, and, stay away from salesy stuff. Just come there
Really,
and
don't
tell
sell,
people
don't
who you
sell.
are. No, don't sell. Don't
Please.
sell. Even even like brands that are coming to do advertising in this space now, they realize that they cannot hard sell anymore. They have to do it in a really fun way. It's almost like, when you make an advertisement, it's like, how can you fit into where it doesn't look like one? Whereas before, like ads on TV, there, some of them are so flashy and they're trying to too much stuff, and we're over that. We're like, that's not realistic. I don't like
No.
that. So now they're using like more influencer marketing. So they're using real people to showcase products or services. And these creators are doing it in such a good way because they're able to show it in a way that is relatable to the audience
Yeah.
versus like it being too flashy on TV, where that's not how life is. Life is not all flashy like that.
No, it's not. It doesn't. It's not like that. It's not like
Yeah.
you've got to be realistic.
Oh, I wanted to know too, like what are some of the things you've learned? So, in this last year, what's one thing you've really grown from in the last year, and what's one thing that you think that you've learned from because it was a stepping stone. It wasn't such a big stepping stone. I don't want to say failure because you say you don't like calling them that.
Oh, yeah.
So
Um,
what?
there's so many things. I have met some incredible people through this journey who have. I mean, I'm learning from them, and even though they say to me that you inspire us so much, and I think it's just being grounded and being humble and taking every day as it comes and being your authentic self. That's what I would say. And I've learned, yes, coming out my comfort zone. So if somebody says to me now, come and let's do this, I'm like, let's do it. right? Whereas first of all, I would think, I don't know, I'm sure, I'm too shy. Like, but now no, let's just do it because I don't let myself think about it. Because
Hmm.
as soon as I think about it, then I'll start overthinking. So if
Yes.
someone says, let's do it, I'll just go and do it. And I love that feeling. And I have got this, and I feel my growth. And it makes me, I feel inspired by myself with the growth that
I
I'm
love
going
that.
through and the things that I'm doing.
I love that. I think a lot of I think so many of us don't do that. They're not inspired by our own self, and why can't we inspire ourselves, right? Like I
Yeah.
think that's really important for mental health as well, to be just really proud of where we've been and some of the things that we've accomplished. We should be excited to be inspired by our own journeys.
Yeah,
Like I think
I've
that's
got a
really
lovely
important.
story about that as well, Kyle. I've got a 17-year-old follower. She's in Egypt,
Hmm.
and I didn't know that was like I had very young followers as well. And she's the stuff that she puts out is very inspiring. So she's going to be on my live today as well
Oh
because I
yay.
just really want to help promote her. But 17-year-old, God, you wouldn't think. It's just amazing the people that inspire you, and they can inspire us as well.
I agree. Age doesn't mean anything. It cannot, like, it doesn't need to define who can inspire you. So you could be a
No,
60-year-old and see a 15-year-old's video who, is really inspiring, and they can. And I think that's what's so fun as well about TikTok is there's some incredible younger people with these young minds that are so powerful. And I have to say the one thing I love about Gen Z is they're a lot more open to sharing things. Where I feel like our generations, we were really like you were almost, you felt like you couldn't share your failures,
yeah,
or you couldn't talk about like the struggles you're having with mental health or disabilities or anything like that. Whereas now Gen Z is just like they'll talk about everything. They're like, hey, I struggle with ADHD. Whereas before people were like, do not talk about your
don't
ADHD.
talk
Like,
about it.
don't
Yeah,
talk about it. And now, people are talking about, hey, I struggle with depression, or um, my mom has cancer. Whereas before some people just felt like they couldn't share these things, and now it's a place that they can. And some of these stories of these teens who have gone through so much is really inspiring on what they're doing, and their thinking is so like advanced almost, where you're just really inspired by their stories.
absolutely, absolutely, love it.
Yeah, so perfect. And that's, you're talking to her today at what time?
7 o'clock
Okay,
GMT.
perfect. I'm gonna is gonna be on your LinkedIn,
It's on my Instagram.
on your
It's on
Instagram. Okay,
Instagram
cool.
Live. Yeah,
I'm going to check that out on your Instagram. And you had a question. Sorry, it's my dog jumping around there. You could probably hear her toes tapping away. But if you said a comment here which I really love in the form, and it said, if someone told you that tomorrow will be your last day, what would you regret not doing? So I
yeah.
wanted to ask you that because you put that in there, and I wanted to ask you that.
It's life is very very short, Kyle, and we know that. I lost my dad this year in February due to COVID,
Oh
and
wow,
it was
I'm sorry.
that's fine. But the thing is, I believe that every death comes with learning, some sort of learning, and it's a reminder for us to actually follow our dreams. So if you knew this was your tomorrow was your last day, would you be doing what you're doing right now, or would you
Right.
be concentrating and doing what you really want to do? So this is what I'm saying, is that when you have something you've got planned or you've got dreams, consider that you've got to do it, because life is too short.
It
When
is.
will you do it? There's never a right time.
I agree.
Today is the time for you to go out and follow your dreams. And the reason why I put that down is because I say that to myself every single day, Kyle, when I wake up, because I'm so grateful and blessed to be living and breathing and doing what I'm doing. And it's my passion. And I just want to make sure that the day I die, I leave a legacy behind and show people and pave that way for them to say, just follow your dreams.
I love that. I love that so much. And I don't know. We probably talked about it before, and some people know I used to be in the healthcare industry. I was a respiratory therapist, and I worked with a lot of people who were young and old, and some of the old people. And I used to always ask my patients questions and stuff. And some of them who were dying, who I knew that they were in their last days, either that was their last day, or they literally only had a few hours left. And I used to ask them questions because they loved to be talked to, for one. And I used to just say, what is something in life that you can give me? Like, what is an advice life? And you don't even know, none of these people knew each other, yet they all had the same answers. And they say, like, one person said, like, always do what you love, because they said the same thing, life is short. And they said, I'm sitting here right now and I didn't even do half the things in my life that I wanted to do because I was so busy in a job that I hated. And somebody else said that the opportunities that come in your life that you feel like you can't take because financially it's not a good time, or family it's not a good time, they say things will work out if you just take them, because those opportunities never come back again. And so somebody told me that once when I took the leap of faith to move to the UK to be with my wife now.
Yeah.
And I was in a great, I had a great career. I was doing pretty well, like financially I was in a good place. And I had to leave that all behind, but I took that leap of faith. And I remember this old patient who, she actually passed away that day, but me and her were talking, and she was like, "You have go, you have to just go. What's the worst that can happen? You come back." So, like, you'll regret it to this day, and it's true. You don't want to leave this earth with regret. So I love that. Like, what would you be doing today if it was your last day? And so many of us, I think, would say, not what I'm doing now.
Exactly. So why can't you do it? What's stopping you from going
Exactly.
for your dreams? I left my well-paid job. I left it. I took a leap of faith. And if I hadn't done that, we wouldn't be having a conversation. We wouldn't have known each other. I wouldn't have had the growth. I wouldn't have had the aha moments. And I
Hmm.
wouldn't be so excited about this project that's going to change so many people's lives. And that's what happens when you take the leap of faith.
I agree. And like, it's it's all about taking those chances, because I what you kind of said about like the universe will provide and everything. And even though you might have had this really high paid job, but you really hate it and you really want to follow these dreams, I really feel like when it's something right in your heart and you're passionate about it, all those right things will follow. And
Yes.
you will, like, it will be okay, you will make it through. So, but you have to just do it, you have to just do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Just do it. I love that Nike saying, just do it.
It's true, right? It's like
It's
kind
so
of
true.
cliche. It seems like a little bit of a cliche sometimes when people say things, but it's true. You just have to do it. Stop overthinking and just do it. So, those of you that are listening today, if you have some sort of on the fence idea of what you really want, but in your heart it's passionate, then take this right now. You listen to me and Farah right now and say, I'm going to do it today. And that might be making content. So make your first video, or talk about the story you've been wanting to talk about, or quit that job that you've been hating, whatever it is. Find that strength, because you have a whole community here that is going to be able to support you. You can reach out to us as well to be
Yeah,
able to help support you through these moments, but you just got to take that first step.
yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I appreciate, this was so much fun to be able to go back in and see where you've been. And the cool thing is you're still on that journey of taking, like, learning through trials and error. You're still doing those things. So that's what I love as well. You're not, a year now, you're not, I know exactly what I'm doing. These are the key, like, these are the tips you need to know. Nobody knows. You just have to keep
Yeah.
trying.
Yeah. And it's so exciting for the future because all really what's happening is it's just the path is just clear now. I know where I'm going. I've got clarity, and every day is a learning day, and you will not stop learning until you die, because this is what I love, and I'm like a sponge, and I just love learning new
Hmm.
things. So I'm just so excited to see
I
what happens
agree.
in the
I
future.
agree. And those of you that are listening, I'm going to put all the links to Farah's social media, so you can come find her on TikTok, on her Instagram, on her LinkedIn. You'll be able to connect with her wherever you are. So if you go to the description notes of this podcast episode, click that. You'll be able to see all those links there, so you can go follow. And those of you that are listening, if it's your first time, thank you so much for taking the opportunity to listen to this podcast. I got lots of episodes you can go back and listen to. And for those of you who have been a consistent listener, thank you so much for being a part of our show and our community. And I really, really appreciate you tuning in each week to listen to more of my guests. And I love to hear from you. So come find me on any of my socials, and be able to drop in the comments what you want to hear. If there's any guests you want to see on the show, let me know. And I appreciate everybody who's been there. And Farah, thank you so much again for being a
You're more
guest.
than welcome, Kyle. More than welcome. I'm going to invite you to one of my Instagram lives, and I want you to talk about what TikTok's been done for you so that you can inspire other people as
That would
well.
be amazing. Let's
Can't
do
wait.
that. I would
Yeah,
love
let's
that.
do that. Yeah,
I would
thank you
love
so
that.
much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Oops.